This is not a macaroni and cheese recipe, and it's also not trying to be a macaroni and cheese recipe, but what it is trying to be is the best butternut squash pasta that you'll ever have. So in a bit of olive oil, take 2 tablespoons of minced ginger and minced garlic and cook that for a few minutes, and then add 1 small diced onion. Cook that down till it's translucent and then season with salt, pepper, and red pepper flakes because I was feeling a little boring, but it'll still taste good, I promise. And then add 1 cup of mashed butternut squash. It really doesn't have to be perfect. I mashed mine with a fork. And then add 1/2 cup of coconut milk, and it's gonna look really gross. But don't fear, you blend that all together and then put it back on low heat while we cook our pasta. Then reserve some pasta water, mix it all together, and that is Snackmas.
Today we're making Korean cream cheese garlic bread. It was so delicious, and honestly I can't wait until I can make it again. So I'm going to show you guys how I made it in today's video. Start with 1 cup of warm milk, 2 1/4 teaspoons of active dry yeast, 6 tablespoons of sugar, 1 cup of all-purpose flour. You want to cover for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, you want to add in 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon salt, 2 eggs, and 4 tablespoons of room temperature butter. Knead your dough for 10 minutes. Add it to an oiled bowl, cover, and let it rest for 1 hour. Add your dough to a floured surface and create 6 dough balls. Add to a prepared baking sheet. You want to let them rest for another 30 minutes. Brush on some egg wash, and we're going to bake at 350 for about 25 minutes. Here I whipped up some of our filling. I'll have the ingredients on the screen for you guys. You want to take your buns out of the oven and cut them into 8 sections. We're going to fill each section with our filling. Then we're going to dip them into our garlic butter. All the ingredients are shown on the screen. You want to bake again at 350 for 15 minutes. And we're done. Full written recipe will be on my Instagram tomorrow.
Unexpectedly, I had to get dinner on the table for my little brothers in 20 minutes tonight. Something came up for my parents at the last minute, and my little brother needed to eat before a Zoom he had. And my mom had already taken out ground turkey, which is definitely not my favorite. But everyone, including myself, ended up loving this, so here's how I did it. I added my turkey to a hot cast iron pan and let it get really brown. In another pan, I also added some oil and chopped onion. Once it was starting to get brown, I added a packet of taco seasoning. This is not trying to be the most authentic thing in the world, I just needed to get dinner on the table, but it's actually really good. I added a cut up bell pepper to my onions and a can of green chilies to the turkey while it was still cooking. I also added some cumin and garlic powder. I seasoned the peppers and onions and continued to cook them down. In another pan, I added a can of Cuban-style beans and some frozen corn and seasoned those. Then I made a couple burritos for my youngest brother. Gabriel was able to help himself, and then I made myself tacos on corn tortillas with queso cotija because I like it more.
Let's make some boozy hot chocolate. Yes, you do need this in your life. Take a mug and coat the rim in hot fudge, then dunk it into some crushed candy canes. Yeah, we're extra, go cry about it. Set her aside and bring some milk to a boil on the stove. Once it's bubbling, slowly add your chocolate. I know this is time consuming, but this tastes infinitely better than Nesquik. Keep stirring until the chocolate melts and then take it off the stove. Time to add your liquor. Go in with some peppermint schnapps, do not be shy. Next, drown this mixture in vodka. You will not taste any of it. Add some vanilla and stir. Ladle the cocoa into your peppermint mug and garnish with a candy cane. Happy holidays, you're welcome.
Small apple pop, let's boost. Ice in your shaker to chill it out. Half an ounce of vanilla vodka.
1, 2.
Half an ounce of sour apple pucker.
1, 2.
Splash of apple cider. Bloop. And a splash of caramel sauce. Bloop. Pop the top on and shake. Keep it boozy, y'all.
Hey guys, today I'm going to show you my all-time favorite, which is an Irish Guinness beef stew. I don't know how Irish it is, but it is delicious. Fry up 5 slices of bacon. When it's done, remove from the pan, leaving the fat behind. Add in your beef. Cook it for about 5 minutes on each side. Just get a good sear. You don't need to cook it all the way through, and look at all that flavor on the bottom. Throw in 1 chopped onion and a teaspoon of salt, 4 cloves of minced garlic. After a minute, we're gonna pour in 1 entire 14.9 ounce can of Guinness. It does need to be Guinness, and scrape the bottom to get all that flavor off. Return your bacon and beef into the pan and add 3 chopped carrots and 3 celery stalks. 1/4 cup of tomato paste, 2 teaspoons black pepper, 2 teaspoons of thyme, and another teaspoon of salt. 2.5 cups of chicken broth. Give it a good mix, and then we're gonna cover and let this simmer for 3 hours. In the last half an hour, take off the lid so that it can thicken. And oh my God, you guys, this is so full of flavor and delicious. You have to.
We've all been there. Your friend is white girl wasted, belligerent, asking for another drink and will not take no for an answer. I call this drink a birthday girl, and we're going to ignore that stain. So first up, tall glass maraschino cherries in the bottom. These are Amarone cherries. They're just fancy cherries. Next up, an ounce of lemon juice and ice. Lots of ice. That's going to melt down and hydrate your friend. Next up, you're going to fill your glass 2/3 of the way up with tonic water. Why tonic water? Because it contains potassium, and they're going to be really thankful for that in the morning. Also, this drink tastes very similar to a Long Island iced tea. Give that a nice little stir, top it off with some Diet Coke. You can substitute regular if you prefer, but the bitterness kind of works in this drink, and it might get a little sloppy like your friend. This is totally optional, but you can add a dash of bitters right on top. This drink is meant to taste like alcohol, and these ingredients are found at every bar. It's a drink to help sober people up when they don't want to be sober. Serve this up to your friend, and if necessary, borrow their keys. Remember that homies protect homies. This is my OG accidental mocktail. I came up with this at a bar where my friend had been overserved and was going to continue to be overserved.
Tonight for dinner, I'm making a family favorite chicken and rice. It is so easy. First, you need to preheat your oven to 350. Then you are going to put in your ingredients as I put them, okay? So you need 4 pieces of bacon that you just put in the bottom of the pan, and then 1 cup of rice on top of that. Once you put in the bacon, the rice, then put on the chicken breast, and then you need garlic salt, paprika, and parsley, salt and pepper over the chicken. Okay, now cover with onion soup mix and then smear all over the chicken cream of mushroom soup. Now fill the soup can with water and just pour it all around the chicken and make sure that the rice gets submerged in the water. Cover it with foil and put it in the oven for an hour and a half.
Okay, I might be crazy for this one, but just come along with me while I make us a ravioli pizza. Yes, you heard me. Today's inspiration comes from Ian's Pizza in Madison, Wisconsin. They have all kinds of inventive slices, but the one that caught my eye was the Drunken Ravioli with vodka sauce. To recreate at home, just start with a package of ravioli. I use spinach because I'm trying to get buff. Now, out of laziness, I just use a jarred vodka sauce, which I add a little extra vodka to, fresh basil, oregano, red pepper flakes, garlic powder, and toss your ravioli in there and let that cool completely. For the dough, again, I'm taking a shortcut, no shame. This is pre-rolled dough from Publix. I love it, but you could use any store-bought dough, or you can make your own if you're fancy. And Ian's uses Asiago cheese, so I am using Asiago cheese, and now we are assembling. Now, the ravioli has to be cooled, otherwise it will sog out the crust. Brush the crust with olive oil and bake at 475 degrees until it is nice and bubbly. Listen to this. Gorgeous. Finish with fresh basil and look at that crust. No soggy bottoms here. This is just ridiculous.
Guys, if you're not a big fan of fish, you will be after this recipe. I made some lemon pepper tilapia, and I made them in little tinfoil boats. Put in the oven at 400 for about 20 minutes, and oh my goodness, so...
How to make salmon crab walks. Mix half cup of salt, half cup of sugar, bundle of dill, 1 tablespoon peppercorns, 1 tablespoon pink salt, lemon and grapefruit zest, and fennel seeds. Toss well and add in a baking dish. Add on your salmon skin side down and top with the remaining mixture. Cover really well with some weight on it and place in the fridge for 1 to 3 days. Remove from the fridge, rinse and thinly slice your salmon. Top on a toasted bagel with dill, red onions, and cream cheese.
Let's make chicken and waffles. To brine, cover them in pickle juice and buttermilk. Dry your wings and then toss them in a bowl with a little potato starch, a little chili powder, a bit of orange zest, and a little salt. Fry them up about 8 minutes at 375. That is ultimate crisp. We'll add our waffle mix, dredge our chicken wing, and place it onto our waffle iron. Voila. This is the new gold standard for chicken and waffles. A little maple syrup and some maple crunch. Yeah. That's just pretty absurd.
How to make the Heat Miser. First, marshmallow vodka, cinnamon whiskey, and grenadine. Give it a good shake, and pour. Top with rum 151, and light it up. He's the Heat Miser.
The other day I grabbed this Wagyu ground beef from Sam's Club. I've been seeing Wagyu take over my TikTok feed. I had to grab some and see, is it actually worth the hype? So I'm making 4 sections, rolling it into balls, and this is going to make quarter-pound burgers. Then I'm also going to thinly slice up some onions and jalapenos because we are making smash burgers on my griddle. I don't know how it took me so long to do this. They turned out so good. I couldn't just throw some burgers on my griddle. I had to be extra, so I'm going to throw on a pack of bacon. This stuff cooks in like 2 seconds on the griddle. It's awesome. And then I threw on the burgers. You let them cook for a little bit on the one side, salt the top, and then smash them down. It was so much fun. You can't tell, but at this point I'm literally sweating, and this was a little bit more work than I thought it was going to be. But it was really fun, and it turned out so good. The ground beef was amazing. If you guys try this, be sure to tag me and hit that follow button for more easy recipes.